Hi, this is Anne from Wilmus Photography, and I am going to show you how I would edit one of my newborn photos from a session. So this little baby is Luca, and I just photographed him on, well, yesterday. So here's his straight out of camera picture. All I did was I had it in Lightroom first. I think I cropped it a little bit, and I took a little bit of the vibrance out and added a little bit of contrast, but that's it. That's all I did in Lightroom. So everything I do is pretty much in Photoshop for my newborn sessions. So the first thing I would do is I would run Portraiture, which if you don't know is a plugin, and it's the best thing ever, I think, for photographers that do a lot of portrait work. So I have it set up as an action. And if I was doing this as a normal part of my workflow, instead of just one picture, I have it set that it would automatically run once I opened my picture. But for today, I'm just doing it myself. And what I'm doing now is I run it as an action. I have the opacity automatically drop down to 74%. And now I'm masking off the detail areas. So I can show you here what I have in red there is what I just masked off because I don't want it to smooth out any of those areas. It's a skin smoothing action. I don't know if you can see it, but those are the changes. Those are after and before. Okay, so I will flatten that. And now I'm going to fix the blanket a little bit where it's a little bit wrinkly. I'm just going to make it a little bit more smoother with the clone tool and then a solid color layer, and I'll brush that off the baby. So that was just getting out a little bit of the wrinkles, and now I'll just kind of make it smoother. So I'm going to sample a color from right above his head, this white color, and I am going to fill it in, and then I'm going to reduce the opacity down to about 65%, put on a layer mask, and then brush that off of the baby with a soft round brush. And I want to make sure I am not putting it on the shadows, because you want to be able to tell he's not just floating there. So that's before, and that's after that layer. And you could even take the opacity down a little bit more. And then I'll flatten that, and then I want to add a noise layer over top of that so you don't get any banding up in these areas. And I'll mask the noise off the baby. So there, that's how I know I didn't get any of it on the baby. Okay, so next what I want to do is this baby has really, really nice skin, but I just want to take out the few little marks that he has. He just had a scratch there on his nose, little piece of dry skin, and I noticed here there's a little mark in the blanket. So this is just the spot healing brush I'm using, and there's just a little fuzz there on the wrap that I want to take out. All right. So next is what I think is the biggest difference, which is changing his skin tone. So what I'm looking at here, I have my cursor over his forehead, which is just a neutral mid-tone area for him. And I'm looking up at the CMYK values when I do that. And I want to make sure that the C, which is cyan, is less than the M, which is magenta, which is less than the yellow, which is the Y, or at least that the cyan and yellow are pretty close, because that's what you should be looking for in human skin tones, at least with Caucasians. So I'm going to use a Get the Red Out layer and just brush it on his skin. And I'll check my values again. Getting a little bit closer, so I'll play around with the sliders a little bit. This is the selective color, and I'm in the reds channel. All right, I'm gonna flatten that and then I'll run another one that's just on his hands because they're a little bit more red than the rest of him. And so are his feet, so I'll put it on there too. And a little bit up here on his hair is a little bit red. All right, I'll check. So my values on his face look pretty good. I'm gonna do another action from Carrie Meyer's photography called Clean and Classic. And I'm just going to adjust the layers to taste. A little bit more red in his chin. And he's still a little bit more magenta, so I'm just going to add a little bit of green because it's the opposite of magenta. Not much difference. All right, and I see down here I kind of messed up the blanket, so I'm gonna fix that again. Okay. And I'm going to selectively sharpen the detail areas of his face, so his eyelids, eyebrows, and lips. Zoom in. I'm gonna do his little hands. You could do his hair if you wanted. And then I also do a little bit of an overall sharpen at a low opacity. There you go, he looks pretty good. CMYK value 174141, so that's good for me. So here is the before, and here is the after. And that's pretty much what I do for all my newborn photos.